right, guys. So yesterday we read the story of the landlady, and you were asked to come prepared today with some highlights from the story that you thought, excuse me, were examples of foreshadowing. To recap foreshadowing, those are just suspense techniques that an author uses where they're trying to kind of get us anticipating events that may happen later in the story by dropping small hints that make us wonder, oh, I wonder if something's going to come from that later on. And so when we're reading a story and we get those little hints that make us wonder or make us anticipate something that could happen later, then we probably have foreshadowing on our hands. And so in this story, The Landlady, I think this author does a really nice job at using lots of examples of foreshadowing to really get us curious about the possibilities of how the story may end. And so hopefully today you came with quite a bit of highlights so that we can kind of explore those a little bit further, and whether or not they were actually examples of foreshadowing or not. So today, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at, go over here. Today, you're going to stay in your table groups. And so you will need your desk cleared off of everything except for a pencil and your landlady story that you've highlighted. And what's going to happen is that the teachers, they're going to come around and they're going to give each table group a bag of like pieces of paper. So it'd be strips of paper inside the bag. You're going to have a whole bunch of them in there. And on the bag will be the name of the person who I want to lead the group today. And so you'll see written in black Sharpie on the bag which group or which person, excuse me, should be leading that group. And what I want the leader of the group to do is to take all the pieces out of the bag and kind of separate them out individually around your table group so that everybody has access to each of those pieces. Then what I want you to do as a group is I want you to sort through these strips of paper. And what you're going to see on each of the strips of paper is a quote from the story. So a specific quote from the story. And some of the strips of paper are examples of foreshadowing, and other of the strips of paper are not. And so your job today is, as a table, to decide which of the quotes from the story are actually examples of foreshadowing and which are just regular text evidence. As you're doing this, you want to remember that if it's foreshadowing, then we typically find out the answer to this foreshadowing by the end of the story. So whatever you're deciding is foreshadowing, it should be something that gave us a hint early on in the story that we were later able to say, yes, something happened with that later in the story. So we have to be a little bit careful today that whatever we're picking is a real example of a hint that was given and then resolved by the end. And so you're kind of sorting your papers into two groups. One group of here's the group that is foreshadowing, and then another group of papers that are not. And once you do have these two piles, I want you guys to further investigate the pile of foreshadowing strips. And I want you to discuss with your group what each line foreshadows. So if you find an example and you say, yeah, this is definitely foreshadowing, well, what was it giving you a hint about that might happen later in the story or that we confirmed happened later in the story? So you can't just put it in a pile and say this is foreshadowing without really using your knowledge of the story to prove it. And so today, please make sure that you're having those discussions about what each line is foreshadowing. This discussion then, you guys, after this activity is going to lead us into some reflection options. And so at the very end of the group time today, each of you in your group will individually pick a reflection choice. So you're going to have two choices of reflection. And these reflections are based off the conversation that you and your group had today with those foreshadowing strips. And so, the stronger the discussion and the more participating you do in the discussion, the easier these written reflection choices will be. So, at the very end of the time, right when you're done with your grouping and the teachers say, then you will make a decision on which of the reflection choices you would like to answer, reflection 1 or reflection 2. Now, the teachers are going to go over what each reflection is all about. And so you can decide which one do you think kind of best fits your group's discussion topic today, or which one best fits your level of knowledge today about foreshadowing in this story. Now, when you get your reflections, guys, you must use the tree strategy in your writing, and you must use at least 2 pieces of text evidence from the landlady story to support the things that you are claiming. So I should see strong elaboration that was created based on what you guys discussed today in your group. And so this does become homework if it's not finished in class. And so use your time wisely today, have really strong discussion with your group, and then afterwards pick the right reflection for you, and get to writing. And you may use your notes and any resource available to you to accomplish that today. All right, guys, good luck. Have a great day.